Hey guys, let's take a look at no drill front license plate mounts for your BMW. Over here on my wagon, I have the Sto-N-Sho, and over here on the left on my M2 competition, I have the Carbonio license plate mount. And you know, I've been using this Sto-N-Sho ever since I got the wagon. I've been very, very happy with it. And when I got the M2 competition, I went to see if Sto-N-Sho made one for it, and they did. However, it wasn't in the same location as here on the wagon. And what I came to find out is this little lip here underneath is actually too small for the quick disconnect mechanism of the Sto-N-Sho. So that's really what kind of led me to try the Carbonio here. And you know, we'll go into how both of these guys install and you know, what I think of them. So let's go over the installation of the Sto-N-Sho. So here you can see my mounting block, which I've had there for a number of years now. And really what you only need to do is just use the 3M tape it comes with on top. You just peel out the back here and stick it where you want it. I would recommend, you know, putting the plate mount in and then mocking it up so you see where it sits ahead of time, so you don't just stick it, put it on there, and later decide, oh, actually that's not quite centered or aligned, etc. So make sure you do that. And then they also provide this 10mm screw on the bottom in case you want an even more secure attachment. You know, this will cause a hole to go in your bumper, and quite frankly, I don't really think you need it. You can also see over here on the side we have the quick release mount, so you just pull that to pull the detent out and pop your plate in and out. So very simple. So here is the plate backer mount of the Sto-N-Sho, and you can see this thing is just a nice thick solid piece of metal. You know, honestly I don't think it needs to be this thick, but it is. And then Sto-N-Sho, they provide these 10mm nuts as well as some little washers so that you can mount your plate to this back bracket. And then obviously down here we can see the pegs with the notch or cutout for the quick release mechanism. And then when you're ready to install your plate, you just take it, align the posts with the holes, slide it in, pull that detent, and then wait till it clicks. Now you know your plate is installed and secure. So let's go over what the Carbonio license plate mount comes with. Well, first, you know, at the top here we have the license plate bracket, and this is two parts. This is the plate backer where you mount your plate to, and then this is the bracket that goes against the front of the grille of the car. And then we have our bracket back piece here, which goes inside the grille to clamp this lower bracket with this. And then we have two little rubber bumpers so you can place on your license plate in case you know, it's going to be making contact with your bumper, you don't have any damage. And then we have our mounting screws and a little hex wrench. And what that hex wrench is for these screws on the side. Now let's talk a little bit about these little screws on the side here. As you can see, if you loosen the tension, it allows you to slide the plate bracket fore and aft on here so that you can position it. It also lets you rotate it so you can change the angle of the plate. And actually, when I got this out of the package, this was actually upside down from the way it is now. So you can see I have the bracket down here, and then I have the plate, you know, kind of going above the bracket. Well, it was reversed around, and instead of this sticking out this way, it was sticking out that way. So I just undid these screws and turned it around. And what this is going to do, this is going to allow me to place the plate more in the, you know, bumper area instead of covering the lower grille where this bracket is. One of the nice things about the Carbonio plate bracket itself is it does have 4 mounting holes, so you can get, you know, the all the holes in the plate secured to it. And if I look at the Sto-N-Sho on the back, you know, this bracket, it only connects to the top 2 holes on the plate, so the bottom 2, you know, are not secured to this. That said, you know, this is a very sturdy piece. This solid piece here is much sturdier than the backing plate on the Carbonio. You can just see like how thick it is, and it's really not an issue. Okay, now we're going to install the Carbonio mount, and the first thing we actually want to do is, you know, not just start assembling things, but really we want to mock up where this is going to go. And you can see it's got these little channels right here that slide over the slats in the grill, and then it's nice that they provide this rubber piece to sit against the face of the grill so you don't really get any scratches. So I'm going to you know, line this up here, kind of get these slats in, press it against, and you know, just see if this is where I want to, position the plate. And it would be nice if I could go one rung higher. However, this space over here to get this plate even higher and out of the way of the grill is a little bit too thin. So I unfortunately have to go one lower down here. And once I get that, I'm going to remember it because we need to now place this rear receptacle for the screw over here. So what we want to do is we want to kind of hold this in front and then find this slot or channel in the front and make sure this screw hole aligns with it. And you can see, I can just move this, slide this up or down on the mount here for the back bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have it there and that it's aligned somewhere within here, free of path, and then we can go ahead and install this piece. So to install the back part, we just kind of drop it in through the slat like so. Make sure the hook stays on top because, well, we obviously don't want it to fall in. And then we can go ahead and take the license plate bracket, put this in front, make sure everything's secure, and then we'll take the screw, put it in here, and start clamping the front and rear bracket parts together. Next, we can go ahead and position the plate mount. And I'm going to slide this a little bit back, but not too far, and get this angled up. And then we can take the included 4mm hex and tighten down these bolts on the side to hold it in place. And, these just need to be hand tight snug. Now that we have the bracket all mounted up, let's go ahead and take our plate, our Phillips screwdriver, as well as those included screws, and secure the plate to the Carbonio backer. And then if you like, you can go ahead and take those little rubber bumpers, peel off the backers, and stick them back on the plate if you don't want this bumping against your bumper. For me, I put enough standoff here that I really don't think it's going to be an issue, so I'm just not going to use them. So there are the Carbonio and Sto-N-Sho license plate mounts. Personally, I kind of like how the Sto-N-Sho sits up a little bit higher on that main section of the bumper, but unfortunately, the Carbonio can't go one rung higher in order to get quite that same position. And for the M2 competition in particular, the underside of the bumper right here where the Sto-N-Sho would mount is too small to fit a quick disconnect mount. So really the only Sto-N-Sho option would place the quick disconnect underneath the very bottom of the M2 competition's bumper, which then really just sits right in the middle and blocks that grill. So, hey, I'm glad I got to test both of these products. I've been very happy with my Sto-N-Sho, and unfortunately, it just doesn't work out for the M2 competition. That said, they do have a good version that pits the plate in the same position as my wagon here on the M3 and M4, so if I got one of those, well, I'd probably go with the Sto-N-Sho. So those are the license plate mounts. I have to say I still prefer the Sto-N-Sho. It's a little bit simpler to install, and I really like how easy it is to just pop the plate out whenever I don't want it and put it back on if I do. The Carbonio is definitely a little bit more involved, but it's also a very solid solution. So I wouldn't say either is a bad product. I would say it really comes down to what your application is. Like, quite frankly, if Sto-N-Sho made a mount that put the plate in the same position as I have on my 328D wagon here, I definitely would have gotten that over the Carbonio. Not only is the Sto-N-Sho generally a little bit cheaper, but it's faster to don and doff off of the car, or don and doff for the car. That said, I'm going to be very happy and satisfied with this Carbonio because, well, that option doesn't exist.